this is the You Gotta See It to Be It series. We're here at LAX Art, and this is Slanguage Studio. And here today we are with Jorge Rivas from 3 Shibuya.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's George. Good to be here. Yeah.
So who we have here as well, my name is Monica Martinez, and we have also...
Emilio Venegas Jr. and
and Kim Lowe, freelance graphic design artist for 3 Shibuya,
cool.
and mortician.
And also we have...
my name is Mickey Edward.
Okay.
Hello.
Alright, so we just want to know, like, your history, how did 3 Shibuya started as well?
Let's see. All right, well, I started drawing since I was in elementary school. I always had a hard time sitting still. My mom would always get mad at me for always like going like this at the table, or like, I think I self-diagnosed myself as having ADD or a bunch of different things. And I found that art was the only thing that kept me concentrated on one particular thing. So once art was introduced, in my life, I never stopped drawing, painting, designing. I grew up in Wilmington, California, went to Wilmington Park Elementary School, went to Wilmington Junior High, went to Banning High School. During high school, I was not a straight A student. I was pretty much a failing student. F's and D's. I was proud when I got a D because it was passing for me. I never carried a textbook. The only book I ever carried was a sketchbook, and I held that really tight. No matter where I went, I always had my sketchbook. During high school, I went to, I think, 3 different high schools. Got transferred or kicked out. Ended up going to Avalon High School, which is right across from Banning. And then from Avalon, I had home studies to finish my credits.
Yeah.
And once I finished my credits, and I was done with high school, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I had my first kid, my daughter. Once I had her, then I was really inspired to make a career out of art. So I started working in the entertainment industry as a production assistant, driving around from studio to studio, just doing random errands and random artwork for the most randomest thing you can imagine, and then one day I met Russell Simmons, who had a television show called The Russell Simmons One World Music Beat. It was a video show, kind of like MTV or like VH1, and he had his own show that focused on music videos. And I showed him some of my artwork, and he's like, hey, I'm starting a women's line for Fat Farm, and his wife was actually doing it. So I got the connection from him, just saying that, they're going to do a women's line. So I went to where the office was, and all I had with me was, I didn't have a college background, I barely had a high school diploma, but I had a bunch of sketchbooks. And I took my sketchbooks to this corporate building, showed them my work, and they asked me if I know how to use a computer. Kind of lied, I said yeah, And so I kind of just winged it, I had a mentor at the time who was teaching me the basics of Illustrator and Photoshop, so I would always be on the phone while I'm at work. Hey, how do you do this again? How do you do that? Yeah. And in exchange, I would give him production because he was a t-shirt manufacturer, screen printer. So I would choose him as our vendor. Like, oh, you got to do your printing with this guy. He's really good. And in exchange, he was teaching me on how to use these programs while I was on the phone on the job. And I ended up going to school while I was working full time. So I went to school at Brooks College in Long Beach. I would work a full-time job, 9 to 5, and then at night I would go to school till like 10 p.m. Then on the weekends I would go to school, and I almost finished school, but I dropped out. And the only reason why I didn't finish was because I wanted to prove a point to all my teachers, and all my teachers were always emphasizing that you have to have a diploma. And I'm not saying, you got to drop out of school.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from my own personal experience. And while I was in school, I was just tired of hearing all these different opinions that all these educators had about finishing school, and because you have to, if you have a degree, they're going to pay you more, and all this was lies, because I landed my first really big job with a huge company with no education background, no skill, no training, and I was, I was accelerating in that field without none of that stuff, So I wanted to prove to them that you didn't have to have an education to pursue a career as a creative person.
Yeah.
So after working in the industry for a long time, after 15 years, I came to the point where I feel like I reached the highest position I could reach in the corporate world, working for someone else. And last year, I decided to go on my own. I created 3 Shibuya. Before I created 3 Shibuya, let me go back. I designed maybe 3 or 4 clothing brands that I wanted to do, and I scratched them all because I wasn't happy with them. I wasn't happy with the logo. I wasn't happy with the direction. But once I did 3 Shibuya, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I focused 100% on it, and I met my business partner, who's also my mentor and investor, and he's the one that's been helping me and still helping me through this process of owning my own business, and he gives me advice and covers my financials, but I'm still out there on my own, working hard every day and doing more than just creating art, because now that it's a business, I have to constantly be in meetings. I have to do marketing. I have to pretty much work 24/7 to make this a reality. It's not like where before I would go to work and it's like a 9 to 5. You go home, you do whatever it is you do after a work day. But now it's like, okay, like even when I go to sleep, I'm dreaming about what's the next move.
Yeah.
My thoughts are running really fast because it's a race out there, and if you're not ahead of the competition, then someone else is going to take your spot. Just right now, we met with the retailer on Melrose, and I could have chosen not to go and meet with them today, and I would have missed out on that opportunity. But I chose, to get up early, to go meet with this retailer, showed them the line, and they fell in love with it, and now they're going to carry it in their stores.
Cool.
So it's like these kind of things that gotta keep pushing, gotta keep nonstop. It just takes a lot to to make it happen. That's pretty much.
Where did you get that name?
The name came from a trip that I took to Japan. So I went to Japan in 2007, and everything about that trip inspired the look and the aesthetic of 3 Shibuya. The name Shibuya is a place in Tokyo. It's very iconic. So when you see movies or any kind of footage of Japan, you'll see this famous area called Shibuya Crossing, where everybody crosses in all these different directions, like 7 points of traffic. And the whole street is filled with like hundreds of people. And Shibuya is also where I stayed for a week while I was in Tokyo, and then exploring everywhere else. But the hotel where I stayed was in Shibuya, so that name always stuck in my head. And the 3 is my signature that I came up with after I stopped writing my graffiti name. I wanted to figure out how can I sign a painting without putting my real name, because I never liked to put my name on a painting. I was always anti the fine art world, because I always thought like, oh, this, they're only buying so and so's painting because of his name, or they're only buying so and so's work because of their name. And that was me again rebelling against what I felt was an establishment, even in the fine art world. And so I was like, oh, maybe if I do a 3 and just subliminally put it in there somewhere, that's a way of me signing a piece without having to put my real name or my graffiti name. So the 3 is kind of like the 3rd name that I adapted as a numerical character instead of an actual name. So I merged the 3 with Shibuya and put them together, 3 Shibuya. So it's actually like me and Shibuya. So it's like, but visually it looks good. And the logo is inspired by the kanji stamps that Japanese artists would use in their work. They would like stamp a corner, or after they're done, it's just like a wax stamp, boom. And and I just stuck with it, and now I'm set. I'm like, okay, this is it. I can't turn back on it.
Other than like a lot of the Japanese like references, what else is like? I haven't seen very much of that. So what else are like the characters or like the animations? What is that inspired by?
So the inspiration is the base is L.A., New York, and Tokyo. So I use those three cities to communicate visually to the audience. Everything that I do has to have some kind of reference to LA, to New York, to Tokyo, and the main reason is because I've been inspired so much by those three locations. LA being where I grew up here in California, New York is a place that I visited and still visit a lot, and Tokyo was the one place where I was just like, whoa, like it just changed everything.
So Shibuya is a place in Japan?
Yeah.
And it's like this intersection or melting pot where these people are coming through and...
Shibuya Crossing is a place that's very iconic in Shibuya, but Shibuya is in Tokyo.
Okay.
So imagine Tokyo being like LA, where you have all these different neighborhoods. You have all the way down to Long Beach, Wilmington, San Pedro, Malibu, South Central. So like LA is a big collection of neighborhoods. And that's how Tokyo is too. Tokyo, they call them wards instead of neighborhoods. They call them wards, W-A-R-D-S, like a ward. And so they have 23 wards, which is, like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Harajuku. Those are all part of Tokyo, or what makes up Tokyo. And just like New York, you have different boroughs. So,
I think it's interesting that you're like against these kind of institutional frameworks and these kind of like parameters. So in which way are you approaching your clothing company that kind of like rebels against those?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. So after 15 years of working in the industry, like every company that I've worked for has their own structure, and every company, has a different goal, different vision. And the way that I'm structuring my company is the way that a normal company does what they do. What I do is that's different is when I collaborate with different artists, I give full recognition to the artists. Most companies will hire freelance graphic artists to design stuff for their line, but they'll never give recognition to the artist. They'll just put the brand's name and okay, this is the brand. But in Three Shibuya's case, like Kim, I did some collaborations with Kim, with Mario. I'll make a video, I'll make social media postings, always giving credit to the actual artist who designed that particular piece. And Three Shibuya is not just a brand, but it's also a platform to bring other artists and expose other artists, to the community of fashion and art.
That's
so,
awesome.
In a way, it's like a collective too.
And you always make sure to put the artist's name on the t-shirts also, on the graphic design, so that whoever picks up a shirt can look at it and they know that it's not done by you personally, but it was a collaborative piece with someone else, some sort of a mashup.
And what's your latest project now? What are you working on now?
Right now I'm working on a women's collection, because right now we only have men's. So the women's collection will be coming out soon, hopefully by the summer.
Okay.
So be on the lookout.
And how can we get in touch with that, or be on the lookout? Just on the website?
Oh yeah, on the website, 3shibuya.com. We'll have the latest, and also on Instagram too.
Okay.
Is there any like big challenges that you own your own company?
Oh yeah. I mean, every day is a challenge. The biggest challenge is not the creative part. The biggest challenge is being current and up to date with your audience, because in today's world everybody moves so fast, and if you're not current, then people forget about you.
And how do you become current? What do you do to make sure that you're on that level?
I think social media, at first I was anti-social media. Like I never had a Facebook, never had Instagram. I was so against all those things, but after doing my research, I was like, okay, I have to play the game, because if I don't, then I'm gonna be left behind. And there's only you can either choose to be underground or you could be above ground. Those people who stay underground get no recognition, and you stay at a certain level, but you have to be out there. You have to expose what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
And promoting yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do your own marketing.
Yeah, I do all my own marketing and always come up with ways to engage the audience. This Saturday I'm doing a club promotion where this nightclub approached me at Agenda. Agenda was a trade show that I was showing my line, and the marketing director from this nightclub, came up to me and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to throw you guys a party." All based on what he saw at the show. He really liked the line. He's like, "Oh, we'll give you guys VIP, bottle service, this and that." I'm like, "Whoa, okay, what's the catch?" And there wasn't no catch. It was just because they liked what we were doing, and it was a way for them to get our audience to go to their club. It's like a cross promoting thing, and vice versa. We can get their crowd to start recognizing Three Shibuya. So it's all about. I think collaborative efforts, it's the way to go, It's, instead of just being like me, it's all about, collaborating with people.
And that's good, that's also, it's like a club too, because you wouldn't think you'd be promoting at a club or something. It's not like, just an artist, just a painter or graffiti artist.
Yeah.
You also open up to the club scene as well. Those people as well.
Can you talk about the process of, let's say I make a drawing, how do you turn it into
an actual design?
Clothing, can you talk about that process, or?
Yeah, well, that process, the simplest way to describe it, and this is just the simplest way. So you come up with a drawing. You
the one you have.
Yeah,
now,
like
right?
the one I'm wearing now.
Use that for an example.
Yeah, this was a drawing that I drew on paper, and I scanned it, took it to Photoshop, put some typography, put my logos, sized it up, gave it to my printer. They burn the films, they make a screen, they silk screen it, and that's just the most simplest way of doing it. But when you're designing a collection, you have to really look at every single piece, just like a body of work inside a gallery. You look at every single piece and you decide, does this all go together? Does it look good as a whole? So that's the same approach when you're doing a collection for clothing. You look at all your art pieces, you have to pick and choose, okay, this one looks like the oddball, let's take it out, or these all look good together. You come up with a color palette, you then, merchandise it, put it together.
How many pieces do you usually have in your collection when you do the series?
It varies. It could be anywhere from 3 to 15, depending on what the collection stands for. So sometimes I'll have, I think right now we have, how many collaboration pieces we have?
I want to say 5.
5 out
5 or
of
6.
15 designs. Yeah, so 5 out of 15 designs are collaboration pieces.
Yeah,
and then I do all the other ones.
Yeah, so usually what will happen is the artist that he's collaborating with will come up with the basic design. Say someone brought him this drawing of this tiger, and that's all they had, just the drawing of the tiger with the hat and the glasses. Then what he does is he goes on his computer and he already has a collection of these things that he can add to it. The 3 with the underline, the Sando, the kanjis, this Tokyo, and then he goes ahead and adds all those things to it and balances it out, and that's where the collaboration really comes in.
Yeah.
So the artist will do the main chunk of it, and then he'll add the logos and all the little details.
And then you go to different locations and see who can sell them and sell them online.
Yeah, we sell them online, but then we also approach different retailers so that they can start carrying the line and selling it. And that's, I would say, the hardest part, and that's 95% of a brand is sales. It's creating is fun and everything, but what's really going to keep you in business is selling the actual product. And so it's not being a designer, and before I became a business owner, I had so much fun drawing all day. I would go to work, sit at my desk, draw, go home, and have this huge collection of work that I've done. But now it's designing is only 5% of what I do now, and I can design a whole collection in a week, but then it's like, okay, well, now it's done, now I have to sell it, and the process of selling is, doing all the videos, doing all the promotion, all the marketing, all the events, it's like, and all of that takes time, corresponding with people,
right.
Collaborating and getting people involved, and
Yeah, it's hard being in our business because learning with Mario or working with him, I feel like I went to school, I was just doing my artwork,
Yeah.
But then when you're doing a business out of it and getting a career out of it, like there's so much work and administration work that you have to do. It's not just painting and then give it to someone and sell it, like you have to do these emails, contact these galleries, museums.
Yeah.
And it's always like back and forth, and you do more of that work than the art itself, And I can so see that in your case as well,
Yeah.
And it's just like a balance of how to not get overwhelmed,
Yeah.
especially, and like just take it day by day, email by email, moment by moment, Because I get really frustrated when I can't talk to that person right away, or you just have to be calm and then just see what would be the next step, or how to resolve this issue and not make it into a big deal. It could be very stressful.
It is.
Just having a balance.
Jalal, he's one of our collaborators.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or let me go grab him.
Yeah, why don't you sit there?
You can keep recording, I was just gonna...
That's fine.
So maybe you could answer some of the questions too, though. Something I was kind of curious about. So, you guys, it's mostly clothing. Do you guys, to keep the platform moving and going, is there any other ways that like you guys are able to make revenue other than the clothing, or is there other things that you guys do?
He does pieces for other people every once in a while. He'll help them out with, say if someone like needs some flyers done for an event that they're working on, he'll do that, and agree on a price for that artwork. Or he sometimes does.
I'll show you guys some pieces.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
So these are my jeans. Aside from t-shirts, we also do denim. And so I designed these jeans, every little detail. They're in, like this back patch is inspired by a Levi's patch, but it has my logo. The name of these jeans, the style, I call them the Narita. It's named after the airport in Japan, and you can see all the huge, heavy Japanese influence in the design work. The way I keep things very minimal, but also mix it in with Western culture, with like my graffiti character.
And how do you get these tags printed? Are these silkscreen or stamped?
I'm not really sure. I designed them, but I outsourced them. I'm not really sure exactly how they made them. But this is silkscreen.
Oh, that's rad.
That's the inside pocketing.
Yeah. All those details. It's all about those
Yeah.
details. And they're not going to see it, and just knowing it.
And
The
that's
hardware
the thing,
is all
like,
personalized also.
Yeah, when it's there, it's like, a lot of the, brands that are more like on the higher end, they do more details on the inside instead of the outside. And that's what these jeans are targeted towards, more like inside details. Even the hardware is very detailed as well. It has my 3 logo.
That's beautiful.
It's got that, but once you take everything off, the only outside detail is the back patch. But the fit is really cool. I'm wearing them now, so they're like a slim, tapered, bottom jean.
Would you be able to find this anywhere in LA? Like, do you have?
Soon on Melrose.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a store called Generation Hustle.
Okay.
They'll be carrying these along with some of the T-shirts.
What about New York or like Tokyo? Do you have any places?
Not yet. So
Okay.
we're still working on getting more accounts.
Okay.
But I do have a Canadian distributor who's
Cool.
Gonna be selling all of Canada.
Awesome.
Yeah. So maybe we'll become more famous in Canada before we start, being famous here.
Isn't it like that sometimes? A friend of mine is in this band and like they're like getting signed by like this German label and like they're from Long Beach, but like we're just gonna do it. And,
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
that opens up to other
like
avenues.
Sixto Rodriguez, like he was famous in Africa and he didn't even know it.
Yeah. This is what I love, man. I love this.
Yeah.
All
I just love.
that.
Yeah, I just love that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you silk screen them yourself, or is that?
Oh, I have a silk screener who I work with.
Yeah.
Can you talk about a few of these designs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this Shibuya Rockers is inspired by my love for reggae, and the lion is like a big representation of like Rasta culture.
Right.
So I wanted to make a T-shirt that kind of represented that culture without being too literal.
Right.
So it's like a simple design. It's tangled up.
Looks like it's this front pocket right here.
Oh yeah.
With the big back logo. It's nice.
Yeah. So this design, represents all the elements of hip hop. And since my roots are in hip hop, I wanted to pay homage to it. So,
it's almost like an old '90s style too. Like
yeah.
90s with the front little logo and the big background. That's clean.
And this particular this font style is actually a font that they used in the early '80s. You could buy the whole alphabet, and they were iron-on letters. They were made out of felt. And so what a lot of people did they would buy the alphabet and they would iron on, their own custom design on their shirts. And Kim drew this one, the Biz Marquee.
Collaborative one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right here it has her last name Low, and that's her logo. She's been using that circus typeface. And so, when the customer buys it, they see that it's an artist collab series, so that they know that that artist did it. And then later on, they can use it for their portfolio, and they get recognition, and they also get paid for it too. So
Always nice.
yeah. And this is another one that Kim did as well.
Cool.
There's her logo.
And how can an artist reach you to see if they want to work with you on a t-shirt or collaborate?
Mostly through social media. I get approached all the time, and I even have people who do fan art, which I was surprised. I was like, whoa, I'm even getting fan art.
There's like a theater of having fan art.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's cool, but
That's awesome.
sometimes they approach me, sometimes I approach them, and if it fits what I'm doing at the moment, then I'll definitely collaborate with them.
These basketball ones.
Kim did that one
Yeah,
too.
all three of mine in a row right now.
Yeah, these are hers in a row. Yeah, Los Rockers, kind of like a twist on the Lakers.
Playing homage to the old school players.
Like a hook shot.
Yeah, there's Kareem.
Cool
Magic.
little short shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you kind of stay in this color palette of shirts?
Yeah.
Gray, whites, and black?
Yeah, I don't do any other colors than gray, white, and black.
Right.
This way, I want to stand strong with what I believe in, and maybe in the future we'll introduce different colors. But for now, this is strictly with this color palette.
It forces a lot of the focus on the artwork itself instead of being like distracted by a bunch of bright colors. It really the artwork has to be really strong this way.
Yeah.
And it also makes it easier to wear. You don't have to think about your outfit too much. You can kind of just grab it and go, and it'll work with anything, any shoes, any jeans.
Right. And here's the one I'm wearing now, but a t-shirt.
So you like to stay in like the single or like just a hard line silk screen method? Do you guys ever do like photographs or anything like that, or do you keep it to this style?
I might introduce photographs later on. Yeah, I've been designing for a long time, and I literally have thousands of graphics and t-shirts that I've done, in the past. And I've done everything from airbrushing to photographs to really intricate work. But for my brand in particular, I like this look, very clean. All the fonts.
How easy to mass produce and everything too.
Oh yeah, especially with the color palette too. Oh, and then this piece, I collaborated with Easy Rock. He's a friend of mine. He's a really well-known b-boy and artist, and he created this design here, and then I put everything together, and that's his logo, and his signature little b-boy style. And the approach that I take is very minimalist. There's no face to the guy. It doesn't even have wrinkles in the clothes. Just I let people fill in the blanks.
kind of reduced it to simple strips. I was waiting for the Jordans to come out, man.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, and I picked the threes because the brand's 3.
Yeah.
Although the 4s are my favorite, but the 3s make more sense. Yeah. And here's my new front chest logo hit, and then the back is the 3D kanji. This is one of my favorites. I feel like this kind of speaks to everyone because everybody's a hustler in their own way, and art hustler is just like hustling your creative work, whether it's music, art, painting, writing.
I like this one. This one's cute.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is part 2 of Art Hustlers. So I kind of wanted to keep the verbiage going.
You can have one for every different art form. You got the skateboarder, and then you need the painter.
Yeah.
It seems like it encompasses everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look at this all day, man. Look at this all day.
So were these Art Hustlers ones? Was that like a series or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's different verbiage that I carry throughout the line. Yeah. So this is Jalal, and he's a music artist.
Oh.
And he's one of our collaborators as well. So you'll probably see him in some of our videos, the YouTube videos. We have his music featured on there, and like we did a video, kind of like a day in the life, shooting in downtown LA, like photo shoot, video. It's pretty cool.
And where can we see the videos? Are they on the website?
Oh yeah, if you go to the website, just click on videos, and it'll direct you straight to the YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is the website? 3shibuya.com?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this one's inspired by the old Bones Brigade logo.
That punk band?
Oh no,
the
skate group.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I call him the B-boy Ripper though, because everything I do has to have like a B-boy or hip hop twist to it. So it has like the gazelles and the hat.
Just run through the hip hop filter.
Yeah.
You want me to move?
Or maybe just put a quarter.
I have change. I have more change.
Then this one's inspired by the old fighter planes. You know how they would have the
right,
like that painted on the
side. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Old bombers.
Yeah. This one's kind of like military inspired too.
Oh, no, just in case I don't know.
When you do present these to, like, for example, like a retailer, like you would just show it just how you're doing it with
I just came back, from that store that I was telling you about, and I presented the line just like this, just showed them piece by piece, and then it makes it easier to pack it up and to go through it. You get to touch it and feel it.
Yeah, it's way better than just having printed.
Yeah.
See this.
They're just saying no sample, no sale.
Is there?
Because you could show a design on the computer or on a piece of paper, but it doesn't have the same impact that it would have in person.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one of Mario's pieces, straight from the comic book.
Yeah, I tagged a couple of my friends because I was the one who won one on the first round.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, "Come on, get it!" And they were like, oh, "What is it?" Like they were telling me "Oh, it's a scam. That's how you get viruses on your computer." And I was like, "No, I know the artist. I know the company. It's real." And they were like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah, once we started posting the winners, then people saw
exactly.
it.
Like, oh, okay, exactly.
Yeah.
So round
do
2
you
and
still
3.
do something like that?
Yeah, we have a new one that we're gonna do soon, and we're gonna, instead of giving away, we're gonna sell 100 women's t-shirts. So that'll be a good way to test it.
Yeah.
Oh, you see this one?
Yeah, I like that. Los York.
Yeah, so it's Los York, New Angeles. Just like a twist on LA and New York. So yeah, we noticed that a lot of the winners were women. So we're gonna offer a women's t-shirt.
So that was a good thing because then you know who your audience was as well.
Yeah.
To see who you can, who's looking at your line.
Yeah, so a lot of these will be in women's bodies as well, and then we have a lot of new stuff coming out for women's.
What does that word mean? Like
Omotesando? It's actually a street in Tokyo, and that's where all the high fashion stores are. Like Louis Vuitton,
like Melrose.
Chanel.
It's like a Melrose.
No, it's more like Rodeo Drive.
Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Rodeo Drive. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Like super high end.
Huh? I wouldn't know, man. I don't shop.
These are more like Melrose. These areas like Roppongi, Osaka, Shibuya. This is the first design I ever did.
First one.
This
yeah. This is the one that made me say, okay, this is it. I'm gonna stick with it.
I like how the D is like has a hole, but the O's.
Oh yeah, they're knocked out. Mm-hmm. White Jordan.
So what was your name again? Jalal. Jalal. And what do you mostly do with the company? Are you just talent?
Oh yeah,
with it?
Yeah, just talent. Just
very nice
with it. Yeah, I was on tour with Mos Def, and then like I saw his clothes, and like he was just like super approachable, and like we just kind of like linked up, and then from there we just became like friends. And I was like, yo, I mess with like the clothing, and like it's cool because it's like some of my like all the clothes that I wear. It's like especially being with like a lot of artists who are influenced by Japanese wear. Like when I was younger, I was going on tour with like Nube Fiasco and stuff, and all the stuff they rock was like all like Japanese stuff. And then seeing like all his stuff was like all Japanese, and me being like, you know, the artist who just kind of goes with that, and he has like the whole combination of like the New York and the Los Angeles, and like mixing them all together. I was like, damn, bro, this is like where it's at. Like, and I mess with it.
What do you have coming out? Do you have like the tape coming out?
No, actually, I got another tour with Mos Def. I'm doing South by Southwest. I just released a single with BJ the Chicago Kid about suicide. So we're doing like this whole like thing throughout like high schools and colleges for 1-800 like suicide, and it was cool because like BJ just got Grammy nominated for Song Studio, so it was like dope. So we just like did a song like about suicide, and it was like it took off, it took flight. You know what I'm saying? Like
that one's dope. I like that song.
Fuck with that song.
Yeah.
It was crazy because it's just like it's cool because we just like hit like, you know, over 1 million on the song, and it was like pretty popular, like having like that fan base like F with us. So it was like,
What was the name of the song?
Suicide. It's called Suicide, and it was like being the first like ever artist to like talk about that. It was like really like influential for people because they're like nobody really talks about the subject of suicide.
Yeah.
So we're like, yo, I gotta like kind of bring it up. We just kind of collaborated, and we're like, we gotta talk about something that kind of like means something, you know, especially having like the kids like going through that, you know.
Yeah.
Just like not too long ago, my sister was like, oh, this guy wanted to like shoot up my school like 2 weeks ago, and like, you know, like commit suicide himself. I was like, that's why I make these songs for like the people who need it, you know what I mean? Like who want to like kind of went through that or whatever. So that's basically what I've been up to.
And then your music's a lot like in the Shibuya videos?
Yeah.
You guys collaborate a lot with that. Do you make songs directly for the videos, especially for it, or is it like taken from your tapes? Or?
It's taken from whatever he has all rights to, like whatever he wants to use. Like the songs, like I just let him, you know, use it because he puts the videos. But I'll make a dope song for him if I have to. You know what I'm saying? Like if I need a song, I'll make like a little thing.
That'd be a good one.
We see the network in action, right?
Yeah. So it goes. Yeah, like I was talking about, you know, the networking and how it's very important to collaborate with people because then you bring each other's audience together, and you know you just keep expanding, and you know it's more relatable to people, you know, because they see like you know, I also collaborate with skateboarders, and you know their crowd is all about the brand now. They're like, oh, you know, I get constant messages on Instagram, hey, you know, check out my video skateboarding, would you sponsor me, or you know, this and that. And I'm like, you know, like we're not there yet. It's not a full sponsorship, but you know, we help people out, and you know, trying to expose people in different ways.
And it's hard too, maybe you want to help everyone out, you know? You have to learn how to say no, like not overwhelm yourself like that, and just say no to this project, but maybe in the future you're able to have like more staff, work with them more. That's great.
Maybe you should choose who you like sponsor. Maybe like it could already be a name.
Yeah. Well, no, I have like 2 skaters that are people who I really work with, you know, and those 2 guys are like our main skaters, and then we ask them to bring their friends if they want to come along, and also, you know, we'll shoot them skateboarding, you know, but 2 of the main guys that we skateboard with, and then we have 2 b-boys who are really good friends of mine, Easy Rock and Ivan, and they're, you know, legends in that world, the world of b-boying, so people know them all around the world, and they represent the brand as our b-boys, you know, and and Jalal. Musically,
I've been on it, bro.
I was looking at the logo too. I want to call you out on it.
I wear it like on a daily though too. because that's the cool thing. It's like if you really like how he's talking about sponsorships, just to touch in, like you know, I've been in a bunch of meetings, especially kind of like reaching to like that success in like my career, and it's like I get clothes like thrown to me like nonstop, like in boxes, but it's like when you really like mess with something like a brand, it's kind of like you push everything aside, and that's what I've been doing. I've been just like cutting a bunch of things out because like I'm in that like plateau of like getting to where, you know what I'm saying, like to be like, oh, now we know what Jalal is, so when he just kind of walks in, we're like, oh, we know you know what I'm saying? So it's like we want to like, I want to be associated with something that's super pure and like organic and means something. And if I think the art's dope, I'm gonna speak like my freaking mouth off, my head off, and be like, yo, I like it, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll die for something that I believe in. It's more than like just the art, it's his message. When we sat down and had lunch, he was like, yo, this is my message, it's about this. And keep in mind, like I don't even know him, you know what I'm saying? Like and then having that connection is like you can learn a lot from somebody on like their artist world. So when he talks about collaborating, like he's really like on point with what he's trying to get the essence of, like actually collaborating with another artist and stuff. So I mess with it.
It's more about a philosophy and all that stuff.
100%. And it's kind of like if you don't jump on the boat now, too bad. Like you see it, like you know what I'm saying. Like I always say, it's like too bad. Like it'll be where it's at, and people miss that a lot of the times. Like I've missed opportunities myself. You know what I mean? Where I could have worked with somebody who we could have like built such a great relationship, and like it didn't happen. And I was kind of like, that's on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I looked at the hype instead of looking at like what was like really organic, like you said, philosophy.
That's interesting. Man, there's so much.
It's never ending, you know. It's like
you still gotta make stuff. Like,
and the thing is, like, you know, the creative process is so minimal, which is something I've had a hard time accepting. You know, that, you know, being creative at this point is like it's only a part of everything else. You know, the meetings, the, you know, planning ahead, you know, the having to be here, having to be there, you know, like so many things revolved around what I used to do was just make art all day, nonstop. But now it's like, okay, now I'm lucky if I get to make art, you know? And
set aside a day for that?
I mean, well, once my collection's done, I'm done. Now I have to do like the selling, gotta, you know, the marketing, the promotion, all of that stuff that comes right after designing the collection. You know, and I can design fast. I mean, just like, boom, it's done. You know, like the women's collection, I finished it like in a week. That's already designed, but now it takes a lot of work to actually, you know, look for the right bodies for the girls, the right fabrics, getting in touch with different girls to see what they're going to react to. So I send the women's line to different people, like, you know, so I can get feedback. And I get feedback from all different types of girls, like even my sister's like, you know, she's like my twin, you know, we think alike, you know, we're born the same day. And I consider her my direct, like, customer in a way, you know, because, you know, she'll give me her honest opinion, you know, and if she likes it, I'm like, okay, well, at least that's another good start. And then I send it out to other people, and, you know, get out to
coworkers that work
old coworkers, and you know, because all the feedback is good feedback, even if it's something I didn't want to hear. It's like, okay, it's good, you know. So
because when I did that entry as well, I was like, to answer those questions, I thought it was very smart, you know, because you know exactly what they want, you know, and that's what you want to provide them.
Like it makes you pick your favorite designs and how do you shop.
I thought that was really smart.
Have you had yet like a project or like a shirt or like a series of stuff that just didn't work very well for you? Like you thought it was gonna work, or you invested a lot of time into it and it just.
Well, the brand is still new, so we don't have that experience yet.
Okay.
Like so far everything is good. Like
every once in a while, you'll come up with a design, and then you'll go back and look at it a few days later and go, okay, that doesn't really work. And
on a personal level, but more of like a retail level. We don't have that data yet.
So just running it out. And then how long does it normally take for, like, say you have a design ready, how long does it take for you to actually materialize it and get it made and start to finish?
It could take, well, it depends. Like, when I first started, you know, I designed it maybe like in a month, you know, I was set on the designs. But to actually make it only takes like 2-3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really fast. Well, t-shirts at least. The denim took about maybe 2 weeks after it's all designed. You know? But every little detail has to be called out because it's, you know, being made in China. And so they have to know exactly what, you know, the dimensions of things, from like the hang tags
And how hard was it for you to make those connections and relationships to the manufacturers? You know, was that something you got working through Fat Farm and stuff like that, or building those types of like?
Well, my partner owns the manufacturing company, so anything I want to make, anything I want to make, I just say I want to make this, and it'll get made. You know, so if I want to make a denim jacket or jeans or it's like a sweater, you know, I have to design it on paper and then hand over the information. And then the manufacturers, they'll make it according to all my specs, you know.
Is it just jeans and shirts right now?
Just for now. Okay. But I have other stuff in the works too.
Jean jacket would be.
Yeah. I have one of a kind piece, though. It says I am hip hop in the back, but that was just like a sample, you know.
Yeah.
So I have to sample things to make sure they work, you know, because I have a lot of stuff that I sampled that I wasn't happy with. Like, I have a bunch of hoodies that, you know, the prints came out good, but the actual quality of the hoodie was not something I was proud of. So I was like, I don't even want to show it.
Yeah.
So
it's more about the quality of the product than just throwing something out there.
Yeah.
That's great.
What did you do to these pieces? Like, did you just like?
Well, it just wasn't the right material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it didn't fit right. It was too boxy, you know. So like when you wear it, it doesn't, you know.
And you destroy them after?
No, I still have them, just in the closet somewhere.
Just make sure like no one it doesn't leak out, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And would you want to have your own store?
Oh yeah, that would be like one of the goals in the future. Yeah, like even a small retail store, you know, just to start showing it.
That would be great.
Yeah,
Like
like
what are
a
your
flagship store.
Yeah, sorry. Well, what are like your upcoming goals or like big plans, or like do you want to do a new type of product or a new type of?
Well, I just want to keep it going and then do the women's line. Because I've been getting a lot of good feedback on the women's and a lot of requests for women's. Like right now with the retailer that we met with on Melrose, they asked me if I had women's because, you know, they really want women's in their store. So I told them I didn't have any, but to solve that, you know, solution, we offered. Well, they suggested that we give them a bunch of smalls and they'll sell the smalls as women's. So they'll put the smalls in the women's section and keep the larges and mediums in the men's. So this way we can, you know, cater to both.
Yeah. So the other one would be perfect.
Oh, nice.
That was fine to me.
Yeah. And a lot of women, you know, they buy men's t-shirts nowadays. So
I do.
It's easier. You don't have to like have a special cut, you know, unless you're going for one special look. But you know.
Have you seen your shirts like just on the street, like somebody wearing them and you don't know them?
Not for 3 Shibuya yet. No, because it's still new, you know, and there's not that much of it out there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like you can find it at PacSun or Tilly's or anything, you know. It's still on a boutique level, so.
Right. But have you seen anybody wear it?
Just friends, you know, people that I've personally given stuff to, but nothing like that yet. All the other stuff that I've designed before my own brand, I would, you know, be at airports or anywhere randomly. Oh, I designed that. Oh, I designed that. You know, but that's because it was sold on the masses.
Yeah.
You know.
And like you said, like that company didn't put the artist's name.
Yeah,
so they don't even know that they
can't really claim it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all the. Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, I have all the original files, but if I wanted to, you know, it's like, you know, that's the difference between other companies and 3 Shibuyas, that I give full credit to everyone who's involved. You know,
great.
That way they know it's like, okay, this person, you know, did this work with them, not for them.
Yeah.
You know.
What was it like working for these design companies?
It was good. I mean, I learned a lot. You know, like I would say, I learned everything that I've learned has been a process of working for different people, you know, like just, I always tell people, no matter who you work for, just know that it's a stepping stone to the next place, and to the next place, and to the next place.
Right.
Until you get to a place where you're like, okay, I want to be on my own now. And then that's a whole different, you know, ballgame. It's like starting over from scratch, but you're starting with all this knowledge that you've accumulated through the years.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
Well, yes, thank. That was a lot.
Yeah. Any last words?
Yeah.
Sounds so dark.
I know.
We're throwing out the window the music.
Some words of inspiration.
I would say, okay, this is just me honestly speaking from my experience. If you want to go to school for the experience. But if you feel like it's not for you, don't be scared to like go on your own path. You know, I'm not saying drop out, but you don't need it to succeed in this world.
That's great to hear.
You know,
that is nice to hear.
Because you're learning every day from life. You know, like you don't have to be in a classroom to. Well, one thing I learned recently from watching this really cool documentary, I forgot what it was called, but something that will always stick in my head is the education system teaches you to be an employee, not to be an employer. So just think about that, you know, like you go to school to be whatever your profession is. And whatever that profession is, you're going to school to work for someone else. You know, you're not going to school to learn to be an entrepreneur or to be a business owner. Like that's not something that people go to school for. So once you know where you want to be, just kind of analyze it, you know. The last words.
Thank you.
Well, that's Jorge Rivas, and here we are here at LAX Art. This is Slanguage Studio 2015.
We out.
Peace.